Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. The winter heating season is underway. For most of us, that means filling the oil or propane tank or bringing in wood for the wood stove. Staying warm in the depths of a Vermont winter is a matter of life and death, which means it's critically important that we are able to keep the heat and electricity on. So to learn more about consumer rights and community resources for the heating season, we turn to the Vermont Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program. Joining us today are Lisa Jensen, the Assistant Director of the Consumer Assistance Program, and Travis Poulin, Director of Community Action at the Champlain Valley Office of Economic Opportunity. It's so great to have you both with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to be here.
So, Lisa, before we delve into the heating season, tell viewers about the latest scam that the Attorney General's office is concerned about.
Yes, thank you. I want Vermonters to know the latest scam is a text and email phishing scam. It's an awful one. It's claiming that people are eligible to receive COVID-19 benefit compensation through the Vermont Department of Labor.
So what should Vermonters do if they receive this email or text phishing message?
If they receive this or any other questionable email, phone call, or text message, we want Vermonters to slow down, take a moment, pick up the phone, call our office, and let's verify whether or not it's a scam or not.
All right, great. Well, it sounds like scammers are capitalizing on the pandemic and targeting Vermonters who could be experiencing financial hardships. It's just wrong.
It is. It's awful. We know that many Vermonters are struggling with meeting their basic needs during this time. And it's so important that Vermonters know their consumer rights and know their local community resources to help alleviate some of these hardships.
Right, absolutely. So let's bring in Travis, who's the director of the Community Action at the Champlain Valley Office of Economic Opportunity, or CVOEO, as we sometimes call it. Travis, tell us about community action agencies in Vermont and the services that they can provide.
There are 5 community action agencies covering Vermont. So no matter where you live in the state, there's a community action agency serving your region. For the most part, all the community action agencies offer the same core services, which includes fuel and utility assistance. All the community action agencies were founded in 1965, so they've naturally grown to develop regional resources based on regional and community needs. But no matter where you are, you can reach out to a community action agency.
Awesome. And they can also find out through 211, say.
Absolutely.
Right?
211 is a wonderful resource for basic information and referrals.
And to find out how to reach you. So now that we are in the heating season, can you share the specific resources that help Vermonters afford heat if they are experiencing hardship?
Oh, absolutely. One of the first opportunities I want to mention is a very great opportunity that is time limited. That's the Department of Public Service COVID-19 Utility Arrearage Assistance Program. It's a long name, but long story short, you can apply up to December 15th. If you lost income due to COVID and you have a past due bill with your Vermont Gas, with a metered electric company, or even with your water bill, you can apply online at the Department of Public Service for possible assistance with those back due bills. Other programs that are currently active, of course, are the state's Seasonal Fuel Assistance Program. That's an application that you would put in directly to the state. I recommend applying online for the fastest response. But you put the application into the state, and if you are found eligible, the state makes a payment directly to your primary home heating fuel vendor, and you can use that to try to help cover the cost of home heating fuel until that benefit is gone. Then is the Crisis Fuel Program. Now that's the emergency component of the state's seasonal fuel program. Crisis Fuel is a program that is run by the community action agencies throughout Vermont. So you would apply directly to your local community action agency. And with most staff working from home, you would just call into your local community action agency, explain your situation, and then work with whichever advocate responds to your phone call to try to figure out whether they're able to help you with your home heating fuel or utility needs. And I have to put a plug in for another program, that's the Warmth program. Now, warmth funding is entirely privately donated, whereas seasonal fuel and crisis fuel are largely funded through the state and through the federal LIHEAP program, Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. The warmth program is entirely based on donations. We have as much money to spend to help those in need as we receive in donations from those who have the ability to give. If you're interested in accessing the warmth program or donating to the warmth program, again, you would contact your local community action agency. And for folks in the Champlain Valley, the easiest way to do that is just to go to our website, cvoeo.org, and all the information on the warmth program is there.
Awesome. And also you could even call your utilities. Some utilities have
Absolutely.
assistance
Utility
programs.
companies
There's a lot of great assistance programs. And
Oh yes,
you
the
are the
utility
key to
companies are
those.
strong partners too. Yeah.
Awesome. So coming back to just Chittenden County, which you are in, how much has your organization been able to help? How many customers has it been able to help avoid disconnection? And do you have figures like that?
Yeah, in an average year, we'll see between 15 and 1,800 unduplicated households. Last year, we helped 1,300, just over 1,300 households stay safe and warm in their homes. The average amount of a warmth assist was $144. Statewide, all 5 community action agencies served over 3,000 unduplicated households.
Wow, fantastic. And does your office have any other resources for people impacted by COVID-19?
You know, most of our programs existed before COVID hit. While we're certainly working with funding to address different types of needs, largely for our office, those funds are directed toward trying to help people who are experiencing homelessness get into stable housing. All of our other programs are up and running. However, in general, I would say if anyone has a question around any type of service, as you mentioned earlier, call 211. Call 211 to find out resources in your area. And if you want to speak directly to a community action agency to find out what they might be able to do, contact your local community action agency.
Fantastic. And so Lisa, how can the Attorney General's office help somebody who receives a disconnection notice? How does your office fit into this piece of disconnection?
Great question. So as Travis said, if anyone calls our office with a disconnection regarding a utility, we would refer them to 211, except if they are a propane customer. So I want viewers to know that there are 3 key areas of Vermont propane laws that our office oversees. And one is regulation of fees. So has to be disclosure and limits. The second is a regulation of service. So a propane company cannot refuse to deliver to someone in their geographic area if they are able and willing to pay. And third, there's a regulation on termination of service. And that's especially important in terms of if somebody is experiencing a hardship and is receiving a disconnection notice, there are certain steps that a propane company has to take. And that's when we will connect the consumer to the resources in the community that Travis has shared as well.
Great. So people certainly have rights. And Travis, what are those specific steps that one would take to receive if they get a disconnection notice?
The first thing we always suggest is talk to your utility company. Make certain that the information on the disconnection notice is accurate. Many times a year, someone will call us during the winter in a panic that their power is going to be shut off, even though I just made a payment. Well, that's because the disconnect notice and the payment passed each other in the mail. So call your utility company. Make certain that the disconnect is accurate. Make certain that you understand the amount of your bill. And if you need financial assistance, contact your local community action agency. There are so many programs, and there's a little bit of a difference to eligibility for each program. You don't have to worry about remembering all of that detail. We'll walk people through what options are available. Our goal is to build futures and bridge gaps. Our goal is to make certain that people feel empowered and comfortable in their knowledge of their utility bills.
Fantastic. And sometimes even utility companies will work out a payment plan.
Oh,
So, and you'll
absolutely.
help with all of that as well. So, if you do have a consumer question about your propane company or receive a questionable disconnection notice that may be a scam, contact the Vermont Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program. To access community resources, contact your local community action agency at 211. We wanted to make sure we get these numbers out. So there's Addison, Chittenden, Franklin, Grand Isle, actually all over the state of Vermont. You just call 211 and you can find these resources. So we have just a minute or so left. Lisa, what are some other key resources from the Attorney General's office program that might be coming up this year that you want to alert people to?
Well, thinking of the upcoming holidays, we do have information on our website around how to protect yourself and your consumer rights around shopping. And we also want people to be aware of tax season is coming up. And there is a very common scam called the Irs Phishing Scam. So definitely call our office if you receive anything from the IRS that's questionable. And connect to 211 to learn about free tax preparation resources.
Fantastic. And it sounds like, Travis, you were talking about you're making them safe. Tax prep
Absolutely.
help is you're all over the COVID-19 safety issues and protocols.
Yeah, COVID really impacted our tax program last year, but we will be having a tax program this year. It will be in person, and we're taking all the COVID protocols into consideration.
Fantastic. And finally, Lisa, credit reports, a quick best way to get somebody's credit report.
There is a website called annualcreditreport.com. That is a website that you want to go to access your credit report, and call CAP if you have any questions on how to do that.
Awesome. Thank you both for all this excellent information. It's very helpful. Thanks to Lisa Jensen and Travis Poulin, who are helping us make sure we all stay safe and warm this winter. And once again, thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.